So we will welcome Anne-Marie Viljamaa and Juha for the topic of business transfer promotion in European countries. Anne-Marie has 20 years of experience in entrepreneurship, training, and research. She's currently a principal lecturer at Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences in Finland as a co-leader of the research group on growth, entrepreneurship, and business transfer. And Juha is a business transfer expert in Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences. They are both academic members of Transeo, and they are amongst the best experts in Finland and in Europe about European countries. So you can start sharing your screen for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting Anne-Marie and I to this summit as the speakers. And thank you for you all that are joining us. And I have a feeling that we are now part of European business transfer community when we are having this Transeo Winter Summit online. And then I'm sharing you some highlights of our study conducted a couple of years ago called Business Transfer Promotion in European Countries. And are you seeing okay, or should I put a bigger screen in my presentation?
You can, there is a button at the bottom under, yes, this one, it should work or not. Okay, it's perfect.
Okay, now this presentation that we are about to give you has 4 sections. First, I tell you a few words about our study. Then Anne-Marie gives you some highlights of our business transfer barometer that is just about to publish. And after that, I share you some ideas about micro business acquisition review tool for entrepreneurs, and then it's time for questions and answers. And now to our survey. First of all, thank you for all of you that did supply answers and data for our survey. Online survey was sent to 65 experts in 27 EU countries, and we did have with the help of the EU Commission 24 experts from their database, and SME United provided us 10 experts, and SME Envoy Network, we was able to find 19 experts, and Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences Network, we had 12 experts in this survey that we did send it. And data, this online questionnaire resulted in 28 answers representing 17 countries with 29 proposals. And out of these proposals, our research team did choose 15 cases to represent best practices in promoting SME business transfers. And about the results, we did get overview of business transfer ecosystem. We did get best practice case stories on business transfer promotion, on national events, and on general measures. We did get one-stop shops and online platforms, and third category was business family succession and guidebooks. And then we came to the conclusions. And now a few words about ecosystem analysis in our study. Good examples of the well-developed national business transfer ecosystems are in Finland, Austria, and Germany, and also in Estonia, Malta, and Slovenia. These national advisory boards are relatively rare, and leading national organizations and advisory services exist in most countries. And we found that there is a significant variation in online platforms, but it is easy to benchmark and build. We have several good examples that we can adjust and adapt in the countries that don't have online platforms yet. And we do see a great potential in improving business transfer ecosystems in EU countries. And let's say, like in the line of thinking of Mira-Maria that she presented just as our conclusion in this study, are that there is a need to continue and strengthen the international dialogue between experts on SME business transfer. Also, business transfer promotion gets attention in EU countries, but variation in first overall functionally in the business transfer ecosystem and also in the extent of business transfer promotion measures. And we do see ongoing need for research-based policy development. And also we would like to have or there would be a need for country-level systematic cooperation between the key stakeholders. And finally, many countries could benefit from launching national advisory boards on business transfers. And why these national advisory boards that Mira-Maria called national business transfer stakeholder platforms? That's the way to have or build a common situation analysis where we are, and it also a way to build common objectives on business transfer promotion measures. Effective business transfer promotion is a teamwork with systematic approach. And now we have updated the data about the business transfer situation in Finland. And Anne-Marie, screen is yours. Tell us about the business transfer barometer 2024.
Super. I hope you see my screen now. I just kind of took over. Yeah, okay, that's working. So my name is Anne-Marie, and like Juha, I come from Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences, and we are happy and proud to work with our national advisory board, the National Business Transfer Forum, in carrying out the National Business Transfer Barometer. And I will give you some results of our latest survey, which was carried out this September. Now, the National Business Transfer Barometer has been organized since do I hear an echo, or is it just me?
There's no echo here for us.
Okay, maybe it's just me. Excellent. Anyway, the barometer has been organized every 3 years since 2012, and the barometer that was carried out this year is therefore the 5th in a row. We have a 5-person team in my university working on this, and the data gathering is supported by a variety of organizations and associations in Finland, including the Finnish Federation of Enterprises, the Confederation of Finnish Industries, and the Family Business Association. Why do we do it? Well, first of all, we want to learn about the business transfer intentions of business owners, and also their experiences of past business transfers that have been carried out already, and about the connection between business transfers and growth. We see this as a #1 tool for supporting research-based policymaking on business transfers in Finland. And we try to provide some recommendations for how to facilitate business transfers henceforth. And we also see this survey as an important awareness raising tool, trying to wake up the entrepreneurs that are aging to the fact that they need to be thinking about the next steps. The data this time, we had slightly under 1,500 responders, owners or CEOs of SMEs mainly. About 60% of them were family businesses. And as you can see, as you can probably guess from looking at the firm sizes displayed here, our respondents are on average a little bit bigger than Finnish firms in general, because about 75% of Finnish enterprises are one-person enterprises, and we had only 20% of those in our data. So a little bit bigger in terms of employees than the average Finnish company. We do see an increase in the proportion of entrepreneurs who started out through continuing the firm by family succession or by having bought the company. The percentage of those who founded their current business is going down. We like to think this is a sign of a healthy ecosystem in which firms are changing hands as needed. About the continuity outlook, this is of course always the key question for our business transfer barometer. What are the exit strategies of the entrepreneurs aged 60 or more? Mira-Maria already mentioned some of these figures. We see a trend going back over the past barometers in which closing down seems to be, well, going down, a good thing for the ecosystem as a whole. There is more interest in external sales. This is quite clear. And the family succession rate also not at the highest, but high compared to the last year's or 2012 barometers. And other owners continue also looking pretty good. As a rule, we think it's a very good thing that the external sale intentions are increasing. We also looked at what explains which exit strategy or continuity outlook, and family succession is basically explained by firm size, naturally also if it's a family business, and performance. Surprisingly, a lot of other things that might make a difference don't make a difference. Age, gender, growth intentions, past growth, whether it's rural or urban, etc., make no difference. But the basic message, the bigger and the better performing businesses are kept in the family. What explains external sales as an exit strategy? Just one thing, firm size, negatively. If the company is smaller, then it's more likely to get sold to an external buyer. That also means that the businesses coming on sale are likely to be smaller than the businesses that already have a successor at hand. However, they are performing a little better than those that are going to be closed down. And of course, we had to check what explains closing down as an exit strategy. Firm size, if it's small, firm performance, if it's bad, having no growth intentions, obviously, and interestingly, perceived sales worthiness negatively. If they don't think it's likely to sell well, then that explains closing down. Very logical, not surprising. As an exception, in the field of expert services, 32% plan closing down. And this is also kind of understandable because the expert services, especially if they are small firms, they are likely to be very personalized to the owner and therefore difficult to sell. So it's understandable. I think Mira-Mari mentioned this, almost 70% plan to exit within 3 years. So we can look forward to a busy couple of years in the Finnish business transfer scenery. What is possibly a good sign, we think it's a good sign. We asked the respondents whether they expect to need external expert support in a business transfer right now or in the future, and the proportion of those who think that they need expert support is going up. We think our awareness raising is having an effect. Basically, we have been for years saying that business transfers, if you're doing it for the first time, you definitely need expert support, and now about 70% of the respondents aged 60 plus see this need. Also, about 80% have had some discussion with an expert concerning the value of the firm. Only about a quarter of them had any regular discussion with their accountant or another expert about the value, but over half had discussed the issue at some time at least, which is better than never, which about a fifth indicated. But we haven't been interested in only the future of the elderly entrepreneurs' businesses. We're also interested in buying and selling on a more general level. And from those who were aged less than 60, we asked about their views concerning buying and selling. We find that about 23% are interested in buying, pretty much the same as in the last barometer in 2021, and about 58% are interested in selling, which has clearly increased. And who is interested in buying? Well, younger respondents are more interested than the older ones. Makes sense. But what is interesting is prior experience of buying a business will increase your interest in buying the next business. So the buyers learn to buy. Growth intentions, male gender, and level of board activity are also related to interest in buying. We also asked about prior experiences of business transfers. How did it work out? Of our respondents, about 37% have experience of buying a business and 23% of selling a firm or a business. This is pretty much the same as in the preceding barometer. And again, about 80% of the buyers are satisfied. We also ran some analysis on the profile of the buyers, and we came to the conclusion that the entrepreneurs with experience of buying a business or a firm are a sort of an elite because their businesses have better performance, they have grown more compared to the others, they have higher levels of strategic planning, and their board activity level is higher. And also, as noted, they have learned to buy and they are interested in buying more again in the future. Also, the sellers are pretty happy. Almost 80% are happy with the success of their last sale. For the first time, we also asked about the motives for buying. And the most important motives in the acquisitions were entry into new markets, pursuit of market share, and increased profitability. This is what the entrepreneurs were looking for when they made an acquisition. When we looked at it more closely, it turns out that growth-seeking firms were especially acquiring for new markets and for economies of scale, and those who were not looking to grow were trying to improve profitability by their acquisition. Finally, we asked about whether they consider the sale worthiness or the sellability of their firm as good or not. This is kind of not so good news because only 54% of all respondents consider the sellability good. This means that there will be a lot of firms coming in the market where even the owners don't think that it's really in a sale-worthy condition. So there's a lot of work to do in order to get them into the shape to have an external sale coming out. For me, when we checked out for the 60 plus respondents, of those who were planning an external sale, only 46% thought that their firm was in a good sales-worthy condition. Lots of work ahead for the business transfer experts in Finland. Finally, as was discussed by Mira-Maria, there is a connection between growth, prosperity, and business transfers. We looked at the data a little bit to see what is the connection between growth and business transfers. First of all, if the successor of the business owned by a 60-plus entrepreneur is known, then this goes hand in hand with higher growth intentions. If there is a family succession coming on, or if the other owners will continue, there will be more growth aims. Also, growth-seeking firms are more interested in buying, which is natural. It's an acquisitive growth strategy. And as a rule, if you're planning to close down, you probably have not grown for the past couple of years. Finally, we had several questions that relate to business transfer, not just continuity outlook. But when those with buying experience in the past years, they have experienced more growth than those who have no experience of buying. Again, acquisitive growth strategy demonstrated here. And if they've had any changes in ownership arrangements over the past year, a lot more growth than the others who have had no ownership arrangements happening. And finally, those who have bought businesses, 74% versus 38% of the others have grown. So there is a strong connection between buying and growth. Again, not very surprising. But we also find that past growth actual previous growth of the business encourages continuation rather than sale. And finally, we looked at the past growth and its connection to future growth intentions, and there is a 7.5-fold increase in growth intentions connected to past growth. So past growth feeds future growth plans. And to summarize, all in all, we think our business transfer ecosystem is looking pretty good. The continuity outlook is better than it was 3 years ago. We can demonstrate that businesses with a successor at hand are in a kind of a virtuous circle with all kinds of things going better for them. Those businesses that have experience of selling or buying, they're pretty happy with that experience, which is good news, especially as buying leads to more buying interest. And the businesses with experience in acquisitions, they stand out as a sort of elite, which is good. Yeah, I think I will conclude with that so that Juha will have some time for his final slides. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And maybe Juha, you want to take over for a few minutes? That's it. Yeah. Thank you, Juha. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie.
Juha, your microphone is closed, by the way.
How about now?
Perfect.
Thank you. Now, thank you, Anne-Marie, and based on this data that we just.
Juha, can you please show the slides in full? Thank you.
Sorry about it. Thank you, Albert. Now, based on the results of this last barometer and based on our let's say experience, we in Finland, we see some developments in our thinking of business transfer promotion. In the old era, our thinking was that start preparing business transfer early enough. And now in new era that we are living here in Finland, our thinking goes that keep your business in selling condition at all times. And in order to, let's say, promote this new way of thinking, we are on the process of developing this kind of tool called micro business acquisition review. This review tool is for sellers and buyers to analyze the business. It helps to improve the value of the business, and it highlights the key factors related to the success or implementation of acquisition. The basic goal is with this tool is to make a successful acquisition. The themes are business owner or ownership, business, the firm, and future prospects. We are having 24 questions with 3 answer options for each question in this tool, and each question requires familiarization with the figures, principle, and justification behind the answer. And answer options are illustrated with colors. Red means that this may be a factor possibly preventing the acquisition. Yellow tells us changing the situation would improve the value of the business, and the green, regarding this factor, the business seems to be okay, but it's worth getting to know the fundamentals. And the business should be in saleable condition at all times, and to kind of finalize acquisition review helps to promote the successful business transfer. And this is pretty much the things that we had in mind to share with you, to share with the European business transfer community and the members and not members of business over Transeo. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you. Maybe I have a question. I'm really seduced by the forums you have developed in Finland. I think it's part of the the reasons why you have a very good, healthy ecosystem. And so what would be your key recommendation for other countries? Because it's not so complicated, I think, to have a forum with the main stakeholders. So I think these are private, public, and academic stakeholders, also representatives of association federations. So what would be your key advice to start with easily implementing those forums?
Anne-Marie, you might like to help me, but in order to start, well, like this kind of event that we are now having, a Winter Summit at Transeo, I would see, let's say, two main options to start with. First of all, I think that Transeo members are, let's say, highly experienced experts in having, let's say, the first move and maybe making an opinion about having this kind of in their own country. Another option is that also this SME Envoy network, it covers all the states, and if they decide as a network to make this progress in their own country, that would be another option. Anne-Marie, would you like to add?
I think what you mentioned makes a good starting point. But of course, for it to really work, what is required is a hosting organization that is willing to be the home base for the National Business Transfer Forum. And we are very fortunate in Finland to have the Finnish Federation of Enterprises as the anchor, the hosting organization. Of course, they don't have to do everything alone. There are lots of active members in our organization, but I still think that's one of the key things that have to be agreed upon when you establish a national forum. And I will add that once you have one, the benefits of it will become obvious within a few years. So I would definitely recommend it.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then we can try to gather everyone at European level. That would be our recommendation as well of all these national forums. Thank you so much. We have a question from Monique Denis de Warwerk. She's from Bedrijven te Koop, a member of Transeo in the Netherlands. It's a matching platform. They've been members for many years, very active in the Dutch market. So Monique, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I have one question because we have a kind of similar research in the Netherlands. We do it together with the Hogeschool Utrecht, also a member of Transeo. And we also watch other reports and research from other countries as well. But our main issue is that we don't get so much input from our respondents. So we ask all kind of we, of course, are visitors from the website. A lot of people want to sell their business or buy a business and are advisors. And we have some agencies in our country to ask with advisors as well, and some sector people in a certain sector. But how do you, can you help us to get more inform us how you get more respondents, because you have a lot of respondents in your country, and you mentioned the Finnish hosting agency. Maybe that's the answer, but that's our main issue. How can we get more respondents?
Well, I'll start, and Juha can help me out then. I think that's one of the key answers, is to have the National Business Transfer Forum members really push it. There is no easy answer, and I must say 1,500 respondents looks good, but it's only about half what we had in 2012, because the interest of entrepreneurs in replying to surveys is going down. So it needs a lot of motivating, and we are really fortunate to have in our team, so to speak, associations that will forward the survey to their members and say, please do. But we also do promotion on the regional level. And that makes a lot of difference, because in regions where the regional organizations are pushing the message, we get a lot more respondents than we do in regions where the regional organization is not that interested for some reason.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. To kind of highlight what Anne-Marie just said, in Finland we are lucky to have this national Business Transfer Forum, who keeps these includes these key stakeholders, and our Federation of Finnish Enterprises has about 100,000 members, and without help of these organizations, this would be not doable. And like Anne-Marie said, like in our own region, our answers tell us that entrepreneurs in this region, they are used to answer to our questions, and so this regional level activities are highly important.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you so much. By the way, I take the opportunity for saying to members of Transeo, if you're interested in working on business transfer promotion, we could organize a committee, specific committee, like Teams meetings together. So we could come back to you in a few days or weeks to discuss that for next year. But we see that even people from the private sector are interested in gathering data. So I think we could consider that for next year. So thank you so much. Are there other questions? I think we have still maybe 1 or 2 minutes from the audience. I think it was really interesting to discover your ecosystem in your work. Really useful to have academia working on business transfer, because it's becoming hard for academic experts to continue pushing the topic. I know from discussing with other academic members, it's difficult to keep up on the agenda. So thank you for your hard work and efforts, and also for Mira Maria working on it at political level. So if no question anymore, we can move to the fun part. Oh, okay, Albert.
You know, I'm always trying to speak a little bit in this event. Juha and Maria, I don't know if you have any piece of advice for the other countries. What we can do, how we can start this kind of like forums, like groups of contact, working groups, to try to push forward the business transfer policy in our countries. I don't know if coming from the academia you have all the data, and perhaps sometimes the difficulties to show in a proper way this data in order to impact in the policymakers. I don't know if you have a piece of advice on it.
As far as I can tell, Albert, you are the best man I know in Spain, whole Spain, to start with business transfer promotion. You have an experience and you have all the connections, and then kind of, Albert, I would be willing to count on you starting the process in your country.
Thank you.
And thank you for being part of this summit, and we are happy members of Transeo. Thank you.
Thanks, Juha. We have Suzanne Durst. She's also an academic expert. Suzanne, if you want to ask your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Anne-Marie, it's actually nice to see you again online, and thank you so much for sharing the most recent results from Finland. And as there are some researchers in this summit, Anne-Marie and Juha, what do you think from your point of view? What should we as researchers focus on? Do you have, let's say, a few concrete research ideas that you think should be maybe started again or for the first time? Because we know we have a kind of a good understanding what is possibly working, what is not working, and still, isn't it? Still, something is keeping us the topic from flying. So what would you say from a researcher point of view, with knowing our limitations, of course? What would be your ideas, your concrete recommendations?
Speaking for myself, there are two things that come to mind. One of them is having comparable international detailed data, as was mentioned by Mira Maria earlier, because this is really an issue. The situations are very different in different member states, and of course around the world. And I think it would be fruitful and useful to have international comparable data. There's something that can be done with the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, but not much, and we could do with more detail. That's item number one. And second, which relates to raising also the importance, the recognition of the importance of business transfers, is going in more detail on the connection of business transfer and growth. What actually happens? How does it work for growth? What are the requirements for it to work for growth and stuff like that, because that is usually something that interests policymakers and funders. What is the utility of all this? But I cannot give you a specific precise answer right now, but this is something that is on our desks at the moment. We are thinking of doing a follow-up interview set for some of the respondents that volunteered in our business transfer barometer, and we are right now outlining the interview guide. So Suzanne, I will turn this back on you. If you have an idea, what should we ask from the enterprises that have carried out an acquisition? Let me know. Maybe we will put it in there.
Definitely, Anne-Marie, thank you so much. And definitely maybe afterwards we could have a chat, because you remember we discussed the need for having a comparable data set long time ago. And so you see, this brings us back, or brings me to back to this kind of comment. What is keeping us, isn't it? What is preventing us from taking the next step to here? Yeah. But thank you so much.
And I think Albert kind of did bring up the one of the key issues. How could we produce right kind of numbers for policymakers? And by my mind, the answer would be the co-creation. We need to talk together about this issue with Anne-Marie, Suzanne, and other researchers. And in order to facilitate this kind of co-creation, I turn my eyes to Transeo.
Thank you, Juha.
Thank you very much.
Good
to see you,
you.
Suzanne.
Same here.
Are there maybe one or two extra questions or comments for our experts from Finland? Maybe also Mira Maria, who is still here in the audience. Let me check. Okay. So I think we can thank our speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will share your presentations with the audience today, and we will continue the work, of course, of business transfer promotion and also political push for the topic. So thank you so much.